think the biggest dark horse contender in the Western Conference to make the NBA Finals has to be the Memphis Grizzlies. They have an easy top 5 point guard in the league in Jaren Morant. They have really good defense. They have so many young, talented players, and I think this team is well balanced. I like this team. I'm not gonna lie. I really like Jaren Morant, and most importantly, just watching this team play as a whole is very interesting. I've been on the train of saying that the Memphis Grizzlies are one of the dark horse teams, and they're just straight up underrated. I will say the hype definitely did die down for a couple weeks for whatever reason. Maybe they just weren't as hot to most people. However, last night Jaren Morant had a crazy 52-point game, so I think we should talk about that performance and how Jaren Morant did, and also just talk about this team. Because while there's no doubt in my mind that Jaren Morant is the biggest contributor to this team actually having success, I think it's important we talk about other players on this team because they're very underrated. Before I get into the video, I would like to announce that tomorrow I'm going to be streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/I'mSpex. It will be the top link in the description below. I have so many fun things planned. I'm going to be streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 5 to 7 p.m. each day. And if you can't make the streams, that's okay. Every day on my second channel, I'm going to be uploading videos from the streams or maybe just dedicated videos that I was recording during that stream. With all that being said, let's get into the video. Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, but we're going to discuss them later on in the video. Look, Jaren Morant is the type of talent that is generational. This is a player that you're not going to really see too often. Now, I think we've all seen the Derrick Rose comparison to Jaren Morant because obviously point guard, high flyer, really just exciting player to watch. And a lot of people would say that Jaren Morant is by far better than Derrick Rose. Now, the thing with Derrick Rose is that he's more of a what-if situation because while he was good in his MVP season and for the couple seasons after that, I'm sorry. But if Jaren Morant keeps playing the way he is, then he is by far better than Derrick Rose in every situation whatsoever. And I'm a really big fan of Derrick Rose. I mean, when you're a superstar in the NBA like Jaren Morant is, a lot of people are going to try to make comparisons and see what other player play likes him. But I think Jaren Morant is kind of a unique style of player. See, he's a good 3-point shooter. He's someone that can really, and I mean really, drive to the rim. Overall, he's a freak of nature. The man has the best hops I've seen in the NBA. On top of that, he's a really big competitor. Now, in the comment section below, I want you guys to answer a question that I've been seeing on Twitter lately. Who do you think is having a better season, Jaren Morant or Steph Curry? Ignoring that Steph Curry broke the all-time 3-point record, I'm mostly focusing on, I guess, skill and stats and all that other type of stuff. Because while Steph Curry's having a pretty good season, yes, he's had his slumps here and there, however, Jaren Morant has improved his game so much. And I think realistically, this guy could be a contender for the MVP, but I just don't think he's gonna win it. I think it's gonna go to Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. However, the odds are looking he's probably gonna win Most Improved Player of the Year because, like I've mentioned, he's really improved his game. Some people are downplaying this award saying, oh, it's just like a participation trophy for the MVP, but I highly disagree because Jaren Morant was probably not going to win MVP regardless. And it's not like he's been playing bad or he went on a slump like Steph Curry has. He just overall is one of the best players in the NBA. However, there are so many talented young players right now. So while Jaren Morant might be a top 3 MVP candidate to some people, I just don't see him winning it, let alone being a finalist. And I gotta say, if you just watch Jaren Morant play, you can definitely see that he's worked on a lot more different moves. He's just overall just been able to switch his game. It has improved compared to his last season. I think what should also scare the NBA as well is that if this man Jaren Morant even gets better than what he already is, he could easily be a top 3 point guard in the league. Some people are saying that, but I'm not trying to say that blindly without actually thinking about it. There's no doubt in my mind that come playoff time, Jaren Morant is going to be the sole leader of this team. And if he can elevate his playoff game, then I think the Memphis Grizzlies are the dark horse contenders of the Western Conference, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run for the NBA Finals. I'm a diehard Phoenix Suns fan, don't get me wrong. However, if the Phoenix Suns were to meet the Memphis Grizzlies in the Western Conference Finals, I would be scared to play the Memphis Grizzlies and especially Jaren Morant. Now, I was on a podcast the other day, Real Ones Basketball, and we had a discussion about the fact that the Memphis Grizzlies are kind of being compared to these other teams like the 2011 Thunder and the 2013 Denver Nuggets, who were these really young teams. They had so much potential. However, as we know, the 2011 Thunder were going to lose in the NBA Finals to the Miami Heat. They had a really good run and they had the potential to be really good, but they just never really reached that full potential. However, we look at the 2013 Denver Nuggets where they just got eliminated out of the first round. While I'm hoping that they don't end like the 2013 Denver Nuggets, I could see them being like the 2011 Thunder, even though I honestly believe that their ceiling could be a lot higher just because I think Jaren Morant is going to be there long term. I could see guys like Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. really elevating their game and just becoming the best possible player that they could be. And speaking of Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr, I think we should talk about these two individuals. But before we can talk about those players, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Now before we get into the rest of this video, hey y'all, this video is sponsored by Manscaped.com, the #1 brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped has a variety of products, and one of my favorite has to be the Lawnmower 4.0 with 7,000 RPM and skin-safe technology. Now I've been using Manscaped for about a couple months, and I gotta say I've been very impressed with their products. In fact, I've been incorporating a lot of their stuff into my shower routine. One of my favorite things about Manscaped is the fact that their products are unisex, so anyone can use Manscaped products. They also do have stuff for other parts of your body, for example like their 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. They even have body wash, like they have all the products you can need for your shower routine. Like I said earlier, I've been using Manscaped's products for about a couple months ever since they sent them out to me, and I've been very impressed. Now if you guys do want any products from Manscaped, then make sure you guys go to manscaped.com. The link is in the description below. However, if you do want to save some money, make sure you guys do use code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. Guys, that is code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. Thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video and the channel. Desmond Bane's been that one player that I really didn't expect to ball out as much as he has, but I have to say that this man Desmond Bane has been shooting lights out. He's been a really good player for the Memphis Grizzlies, and to be quite frankly, I would really give Desmond Bane Most Improved Player of the Year over Ja Morant, because I just don't feel like Ja Morant is built for that type of award, just because I feel like he's an MVP candidate. That's gonna sound really weird, but the point I'm trying to make is that if Ja Morant wasn't to win Most Improved Player of the Year, I'd give it to Desmond Bane. There's a lot of aspects about Desmond Bane's game that's really helps the Memphis Grizzlies win. For example, his shooting. He made it to the 3-point contest, which I honestly thought was super cool. In fact, when I say his shooting is good, I don't mean, oh, he's just a decent, consistent 3-point shooter. I mean the man is literally one of the most consistent shooters in the NBA. For example, he's currently shooting 43% from the 3-point line this season. Not only that, but he's shooting 45% from the field, so showing that he can be consistent not only when it comes to 3-point shooting, but when it comes to overall just shooting in general. However, I'm more of a true shooting percentage guy, and the man Desmond Bane is averaging about 57% when it comes to true shooting. Overall, he's one of the more underrated guys on the Memphis Grizzlies, but he's been such a dominant player for them, and I think it's very important that we talk about him. Now, there's one more player I do want to discuss on the Memphis Grizzlies, but all I do want to say is that I'm just naming these 3 players because I don't want the video to be like 30 minutes long. They have so many talented players with guys like Steven Adams and D'Anthony Melton, even Dylan Brooks. They have so many talented players, so when I'm naming just these couple guys, I want to give you guys the context that they have a lot more than just the players I'm naming. With that, let's talk about Jaren Jackson Jr, the final player I want to discuss in this video. I gotta say, Jaren Jackson Jr is one of the best rim protectors in the league. I mean, he is leading the NBA in blocks. I gotta say that what scares me about this team is that with players like Jaren Jackson, he could really improve and honestly become a lot better than he already is. And when your ceiling is so high with a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr, which I believe he has a pretty high ceiling, I'd like to say that this team could really go places, especially with a guy like him. He's one of my favorite defenders in the NBA. As a matter of fact, I think he's actually top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year votes. I can't remember. But with the way the NBA does like to favor more inside defenders in the paint compared to perimeter defenders, I'd like to say that I think Jaren Jackson Jr in the future could win a Defensive Player of the Year. Overall, there's not really a whole lot I want to say about Jaren Jackson Jr. I've said so much about him in the past, but all I want to say is that this is one of my favorite defenders in the NBA. And when it comes playoff time and in crucial situations, I think Jaren Jackson Jr is going to be the rim protector that the Memphis Grizzlies need. I've been praising this team for months, and I have to say I have a pretty valid reason. I think they're a dark horse team. They have young talent. They have so many talented players. And what I like about this team compared to others is that the NBA media isn't necessarily ignoring them because of Ja Morant. I mean, Ja Morant is literally a highlight machine. Even Stephen A. Smith himself said that he would take Ja Morant over Giannis when it comes to the playoffs, which I obviously do not agree with, and I think even the biggest fans of Ja Morant could agree with the same thing. It's no secret this team is not a favorite per se, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were to just not be considered all to be a team that could possibly make the finals. But what scares me about dark horse teams is that they really don't have anything to lose. I mean, think about it. Did they spend a bunch of money on a player? No. Did they get a big free agent? Is everyone watching this team and thinking, oh, this is the team that's going to make it out of the West? Absolutely not. Currently, the favorites out of each conference is the Phoenix Suns and the Philadelphia 76ers, and I haven't really been seeing anyone say, oh, I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to make it. And even though I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, I'm calling it right now. If the Suns do not take the Memphis Grizzlies serious, then the Grizzlies could really do some damage. This might be shocking, but unless the Grizzlies are to play the Phoenix Suns in their run to the Western Conference Finals, I really see the Grizzlies making it to the Western Conference finals. Because a wise man once said that the person or team with nothing to lose is the scariest of teams. And tell me right now, what does this team have to lose?